him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-macabre, it's time for the only news that matters. And VINNY Appice recently appeared on the Hook Rocks. The iconic drummer has seen it all and played with some of the most prominent musicians in rock history. VINNY reflects on making music with John Lennon. He was in a band that was recording in New York, and somebody downstairs came up that was friends with one of the band members and said, "Hey, would you guys mind coming downstairs and do some hand claps on a John Lennon song?" And they were like, yeah. So all 9 of us go down and we walk in and we see John Lennon and go, "Oh shit, it's John Lennon." So we go into the room and we all put on headphones, and now he's talking to us. Yeah, you know, you've heard his voice so many times, and now he's talking to me. And so that was just a trip. And we wound up doing hand claps on the song Whatever Gets You Through the Night. That's me and my band doing hand claps on that song. So we got to meet him afterwards, and we were real cool. We weren't fanboys, you know. We wanted to be cool. And then we went back to our room and we were freaking out. And he must have asked Jimmy, where did these guys come from? And instant 9 guys doing hand claps. Just what they needed, you know? So Jimmy must have told them, they're upstairs rehearsing. It's a great band. I'm producing them. And a couple days later, he comes into the room, watches us play, and that's like, I remember my muscles freezing up a bit. Never happened before, but I'm there and like, wow, John's sitting there watching us play. So he liked that, and I smoked a couple joints with him. And you know, he used to come up all the time. We played pool. There was a pool table in the room next door, and he used to hang out with us. So he wound up asking us to do some videos with him and all this stuff. And then he asked us to do this live performance at a New York Hilton. And it was a black tie affair, a big ordeal on TV and all. You know, all over the world. And we did that, and we played 3 songs with him. And then I found out not too long ago that that was his last live appearance. And I'm sitting there going, shit, I played on John Lennon's last live appearance. That is wild. Appice adds, I'm sitting there with John in our rehearsal room, and I'm sitting here, and he's to my right smoking a joint. And he always wanted Coke, but I didn't do Coke. I was just a pothead back then. And we're talking about Italian food. And I said, you know, my grandparents are from Italy. My mother makes the killer lasagna, the meatballs, everything, you know? And we're talking about it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to have her make you some. So I told my mom, and you got to make some lasagna for John Lennon. Okay, she makes a pan of lasagna a couple days later. I bring the lasagna in the studio, and luckily John was there. And I said, hey, John, this is from my mother. She made this specially for you. We talked about Italian food, and here it is. Oh, thank you, thank you. He's very, very nice about it, and took the pan. And about a month later, my brother's playing Madison Square Garden with Rod Stewart. And they're doing like 6 nights at Madison Square Garden. And my parents went to the party they had up in the city. And I don't know, I must have been on the road or something. And my mother is backstage. And my mother's a short Italian woman, you know, kind of heavy. And my father, Charlie. And she says, look, Charlie, there's John Lennon. So Carmine says, come on, I'll take you over there to meet him. So they went over there and Carmine said, this is my mother and this is Vinny's mom and blah, blah, blah. And she said, I made you lasagna, you know? So they talked for a little bit, and at the end of the conversation, my mother asked John, did you bring the pan? Oh, man, yeah, this is wild stuff, man. I saw this interview of him talking about he played with John Lennon, man. And he was only like 16, 17 at the time. And, God, that must have been so mind-blowing. And, yeah, the final appearance that John Lennon did with Vinny Appice, and you can see it on YouTube. Just type in John Lennon, a salute to Sir Lou Grade. And, but, you know, what's lame about it is that John Lennon made the whole backing band wear these weird masks, these ball-headed masks and stuff, and made them dress all weird and stuff. And John Lennon was dressed all in red. So you can't see Vinny's face, but that's him on the drums. Yeah, what a trip that must have been. Being a teenager and then playing with John Lennon. That is mind-blowing. Then find out later you played the last show that John Lennon ever did in public. Pretty mind-blowing. And I met Vinny Appice in Nashville in the elevator. And yeah, he was super cool. And I was telling him, man, I saw the Heaven and Hell tour, Mob Rules, you know, Last in Line, Sacred Heart, you know, I've been following you, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I don't remember playing all those shows. The thing about Vinny Appice, he's really, really funny. And like he was telling me, I don't remember playing any of those shows, you know. And then I said, well, you know, I know a show you will remember I saw you at. The Miami Casino. I saw the Last in Line show, the very last one with Jimmy Bain, because Jimmy Bain died a couple days later on the Def Leppard cruise. And man, the guy had lung cancer and didn't even know it. That's insane. But he was like, oh man, and he told me the whole story about that. And it was pretty interesting. Poor Jimmy Bain. But the thing about Vinny, because he was there with his brother, you know, and they did like a drum clinic thing. But man, when they were getting interviewed, you could hear that interview. It was on Decibel Geek. Check it out. Type in Decibel Geek, Carmine and Vinny Appice. I believe that you'll find it that way. And man, he was making so much fun of his brother. It was hysterical, the things he was saying. Never realized how hilarious that, you know, he is. And I did see one of the first shows he did with Sabbath in Miami, because I know the first show he played with them was in Hawaii. And a couple shows later, there they are. So I saw one of the first Vinny shows with Black Sabbath. And let me tell you, I was pretty disappointed to see him because I was like, that ain't Bill Ward. But, hey man, as Dio says, the guy's a wrecking machine. He is an awesome drummer, nonetheless. And I really dug that first Last in Line album. I thought it was amazing. And that show I saw at the Miami Casino was, I'm telling you, man, out of the thousands of shows I've seen, that had to be in my top 10. It was so amazing. And that Friedman guy, whatever his name is, that singer, badass. Jimmy Bain looked like death, but he played fine. But yeah, he did not look good at that show. But yeah, I highly recommend the first album. I think it was called Heavy Crown. I didn't like the second album, and you know, and I know there's a third album, and I don't think I've heard it yet. So yeah, I should give that a shot and listen to it. But anyway, what do y'all think, man? Vinny Appice playing with John Lennon. Pretty cool, man. Leave it in the comments below. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't and ring that little notification bell. I really would appreciate that. And please like the video for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and schmack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.